system connected to a miniature fort situated at maybe Makango, which Makango also has access to the Volta River, right? You can transport stuff, can create a water transport system, right, where you can the mid belt to the west and the east of Ghana, which will be efficient and will reduce emissions and all that. So I think that we should look into that. Yeah. You have a project.
Fortunately, somebody take it. We are here, and I think if we don't take care, the comments will take whole of our time. So what we are going to do is that sitting at the fence, you raise your hands, we count you. Then those that disagree, we also note you. We will give opportunity to from those that say, Honorable Oseche Mensabosu is here. He has 1 minute to give a comment to all of us. So, Honorable, welcome.
Well, I think just a couple of comments. And I would want to agree with the former Minister for Finance. We need really to enforce some of the rules that we have. Now, the 2021 population and housing stock census indicates to us that there are 10 million houses in the system. No district, not one. And yet the Constitution provides for district assemblies to do this. The Constitution also provides for regions and districts to be developed equitably with the resources to do that. Now, assuming on the average, we are living about 1,000 cedis per house. These structures in Accra, some of them would attract 50,000, 100,000 per year. In the rural areas, certainly maybe 100 cedis, 200 cedis. That's why I'm averaging 1,000 cedis. That will give us about 10 billion. Now, we all road contractors today in the region of about 9, we've settled some. It used to be about 12 billion. Now, the outstanding is about 9 billion. We need to pay road contractors. And yet, we're not taking these monies from them. I was just telling Seth that when we fashioned at the time the Petroleum Revenue Management Act, petroleum is defined to include gas. So today, not a penny has come into the national kitty from the gas outfits. Not a penny. And yet, the directors go and sit down there and determine what to do with the revenue from gas. And nobody is complaining. Not NDC, not NPP. As if we're afraid of them, those of them who are in charge. And yet, as I'm saying, petroleum includes gas. How much are we attracting from the gas enclave? We need those monies to develop our country. Yes, a few people go and sit down and then determine what to do with it, including the building of so many astroturfs. I'm not saying that astroturfs are not necessary. Is that our priority now? Is that our priority now? So please, let's confront these facts. There are some money sitting outside there that as a nation we can tap to develop our country. God has given us a new beginning. Petroleum, now the discovery of iron ore and lithium. The iron ore at Sheni can go around the earth if we develop it 4 times. It's giving us a new beginning. We went into Dumso. Seth and others, the former president, re-illuminated Ghana with these thermal plants. Ghana is having light, energy. The truth of the matter, however, is that the energy that we are having is not making our industries competitive because Now, on the average, power generation, the cost of power generation is in the region of about 16, 17 cents per kilowatt hour. You can't develop any industry with it. It will not make you competitive. Akotombo is in the region of about 4 cents. If you want to develop the lithium, if you want to process, add value to our agro products, we need to bring down the cost of energy. How do we do that? I agree with him. We must think outside the box. But there's so much to do. I thank you.
Honorable, thank you very much. So we go straight to the point 2 under infrastructure. To achieve 100% electricity access rate nationwide within 10 years. And currently we are at 85% as a country. We want to do this within the next 10 years. Those that say no, can I see by raise of your hand? The ones that we mentioned are just examples. The paper.
Cross-border Women Traders Association. And when it comes to cross-border trading and all these things, it brings more impact into it. So when we are looking at infrastructure in those areas too, we should be looking at the roads within those enclave also to promote trade, to promote business. We are in the border because they are going to be doing trading with us. So let's be mindful of those ones.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So on electricity, 100% within 10 years. If there's any no, kindly let me know. Oh, yes. Michael, remove. Oh, yes. So the third point.
The cost.
Renewable energy products, not just electricity.
Within 10 years.
Aspect is key in terms of electricity, especially if we want to develop the industrial base.
Yeah.
Because at this present moment, residential is taking quite a chunk. And if we do not transfer or replace residential with renewable, it's going to be difficult. We say we are 85% now.
Okay.
What about industry? Go to the north. What industry is there?
Yeah.
Go to parts of Ghana. What industry is there? And we know it's energy that feeds it all. For me, it is good to sit here and talk about it. Will it happen? That's my major challenge. Because
Essentially,
it's meant for manifestos, right?
no, essentially, that is why we are here as compact and non-governmental, not apolitical grouping.
So far as we can make it happen, no problem.
Yes.
But will it happen?
Offense. How many? Raised by.
Of the various political parties. If they are going to be innovative enough, and we've had a clear example of what the Honorable former Minister has explained to us, that major infrastructures must be funded for it to pay for itself, and we can't depend on our kitty.
Yes.
Hence, it beholds on the political leaders who fetched. Because 10 years from now, some of us will be hitting our 50s and 60s. And our children, they will consume more power than us. Like, fact, should be innovative enough. If they don't come up with good solutions, they don't have business taking our votes.
All right. Thank you very much. So we are.
We're here to talk about the target electricity extension into our communities. But if you are talking those ones, in 10 years, have we even started?
Except that it's still technology is still expensive. Initial investment is difficult.
Okay. Energy.
Buildings that we are putting up, be it offices and all of that. Everybody is putting up glass houses. And recently when the architects and the civil engineers should come in so that we anyway.
Houses. In fact, zero net houses in terms of heat. They are manufacturing that kind of material.
So I understand that there's a company in Ghana that does that. So we may have to look for it.
That's a good point. The architecture of our buildings have to be looked at. It should be more sustainable than we are doing.
We are here because of private sector development and the companies that are building some of these renewable houses. We have also indigenous ways. Maybe we didn't add that to, we use laterite and gravel and all those things too, but just communal labor because we're looking at communal trade as well.
So we move to the last under infrastructure development to increase internet penetration to 75% within 5 years. This target was made based on it. We were of the view that 75% raise of hands, those that are if you have any. Okay. Increasing internet penetration to 75% within 5 years.
Yeah, but what it is that we are just focusing on this one.
All of us use to survive. And 75% in 5 years is too low for me. I think we can do much better. Like 80 to 90% internet penetration throughout the country within the 5 years.
I am something we need to quickly and also the costs.
Percentage within 5 years. To approve of.
To add for a start, whether a startup or ongoing business. And so if government is able to
This one comes under the SME development. We'll take note of that.
Then it is possible. Because at the present moment, we haven't been able to do that. And then with the Western Fiber backbone completed, telcos using their fiber backbone to now give to us. And
Let's move on. Such ICT where our business go out scattered all over the world.
I'm the executive director of Smartline. It's a publishing company. I wanted us to just a separate heading on its own because what we truly have is the people who will do the work. 50% and counting of our young people cannot actually read. So they can't self-learn. They just don't have the capacity because they are illiterate. So it's important. It's not just the roads and the rest of it. It's the people themselves. In Germany,
Thank you very much. So we are done with infrastructure development. Let's move receiving bank loans from 30% to 50% within 5 years. If there's any objection to this target, because roughly it's taking us about from 2011 to now to move from 11% to 30%. So I will give two people opportunity to give their comment if they object to this target.
Yeah. I'm thinking we can increase to
3. Okay.
the reason being that the SMEs are the rate of youth employment that we are having. Most of them are also going percentage. We are increasing to 50%, to 75%. I think it's good. The target of 50%. Let's increase it to 70%.
What you should appreciate access to funding, okay, and it entails a lot. It's one having the financial institutions that are giving the facilities to having work such that within this period we can move as many, from 30% to 50%. So it's not giving money. We are not talking.
One way or the other will agree with you. But the point is that for some of us who are the grassroots, we sit together and look people who are available, who are willing to. I spoke about bank saving and loan, which women at the cross border are able to go cross side using the CFA. You understand? But how many of them have access to such as let's open, let's get a more percentage of them to be able to access. That is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
the ecosystem is
we have achieved it. How do I just setting targets? So we agree with you. I mean, when you set targets, it's actually
The statement is quite ambiguous. I mean, increase bank loans for SMEs from 30 to 50 of the interest rates. The governor of the Bank of Ghana sits down at the table, and I don't know what kind of
no, so we get your point.
but I realize that we should I don't know your role here, but this
Right, because we are 1 hour to do
Mr.
all this.
the loan system is enough to build our SMEs. We need to move towards giving loans to and are seeking for jobs, and those that can actually create the jobs that they want, right? And so, if we have a system where student startups or graduate startups can get easy access to fund the GDP of this country, and so this target I don't think is realistic until we amend our inflation target framework that the Bank of Ghana is doing. I don't think that we can be able to meet these targets. Thank you.
So issues yesterday came under fiscal,
Mm.
and some of the things that they discussed, when we make sure that they achieve them, we'll be able to achieve this one too.
Yeah. Some of us AGI, those of us in AGI, and some GEPA and things like that. We do get, as SMEs, we do get access to funding. Sometimes it's grants. Sometimes it's grants to into machinery or equipment and things like that. So it's not simply loans, but access to funds. You know. Yeah.
We didn't want to do it that way because funds is so broad. So when you check the point two, you notice that it's another form of funding. Go on grant, I don't see it's possible. I think you will still be hovering around the micro space if you want to grow on any business that has grown. There's all right. So we can't talk about this issue again because we want to move on. We beg you. When we finish, meet me and give me your suggestion. Yeah. All right. So any person who sits in the middle.
Maybe just a quick comment, just to facilitate the discussion a little bit. I agree with Bridget. We have to look beyond loans to funding in general. I think and there are some grants, some funding facilities going on, but if you are talking of national development, that would lift a critical mass from a certain level to another level. Grants and the rest are benevolent at the benevolence of various organizations. A country somewhere will give you something. You cannot target that as your national development. You should be pushing that. If you get it, that's fine. But for national development, we should get to a stage where our SMEs should be so prepared that they are able to take up facilities and pay back. We should reach a stage where our banks and the financial institutions should be so strong that they have money and capacity to on lend. That's where development comes. So it is possible that you get the grants and all that, but the grants should prepare you to reach a level where at some point you now be able to take on loans to do business. So I think that's the key.
Grant.
No longer micro.
Mm-hmm.
Is beyond 5 years. So if you are talking the first 5 years, we are looking for all sources of funding.
Yeah.
Beyond that, after the 5 years, definitely you have grown and you are a credible entity to attract even bigger loans.
So you think that the target from 30 to 50 is ambitious?
30 to 50% of
SME.
SMEs attracting loans. Of SMEs attracting loans. No, it's not. All I'm saying is that it should go beyond loans. SMEs attracting also other sources of funding. He talked about venture capital and other kinds of capital within that time. And in fact, if we are open to those ones, it might go beyond the 50%.
Forget it. We need to be able to teach people what it means to run a business. You might have X amount of money. If you don't have a clue how to run an SME, you are wasting the money. That training is important. The education bit of it is important.
These are women. They do not understand how to run a business, but They run businesses. They do. The women, I trade in palm oil. Sorry, I'm sitting. But I trade in Jomi palm oil, and the women in my village make more money than me. So yeah, so they do understand business.
Thank you very much. I think the private sector discussion, this is expected. Please, no, we have to move on. We have to move on. Okay, so on that point, since no contribution has come regarding the percentage and the time frame, we take it that it is accepted. Within 5 years, by creating incentive for SMEs to go public. So you know the Ghana Alternative Market is a Ghana Stock Exchange portion built for SMEs. We want to be able to grow the numbers by multiplying it by 200%. I think any no, any middle, 25 within 5 years. For now, the share of manufactured goods regarding the total export that we send out as a country is only 10%. An indication that as a country we are not diversifying, or there's a concentration of export of our primary goods. We want to be able to increase the manufactured exports to 25%. Any no?
Indeed, just to support the point, just 3 products, according to Statistical Service latest release, 3 products gives us 80% of our export revenue.
What are these products?
And that is cocoa, gold, and then the oil.
Oil.
So gold, the minerals, and then the oils. Just these 3 items gives us 80%. So all the rest. Come again. So that's the point. Yeah, so I'm supporting the point. He's saying, he's saying that the target is to move it from 10% manufactured to 25.
25.
And I'm giving additional statistics
to support.
8% so far is just in 3 products. And then there are some other non-traditional products that are not also manufactured, that has been exported. So the manufactured base is just 10%. And we want to move it to 25%.
All right.
And he's asking whether...
For now, everybody is in support. Are you for no? You know something? We beg you. We are moving with time. Once you indicate yes, we move. So it's no. Because, we are checking the number. Okay, so let me say this again. No, we are recording the numbers. So if you say yes, we move. Once you say yes, you can't talk. No, please, we beg you.
No, because we don't have...
Yes. If you want to talk, you can indicate no or maybe. Then we allow you to talk. We beg you. So, on that point, anybody saying no to it?
Realistically, 10 to 25 in 4 years, right? Looks okay. But right now, with this CD to dollar depreciation and all that, don't you think we should encourage our youth to find a way of also entering into manufacturing?
Yes.
So that the 25% is a bit too low a target. That we have a bit higher targets and encourage them, because now everything, even toothpick, is imported.
Okay.
The other thing,
I think that the timeline is too far away. But yes, the reason being that you spoke about non-traditional products. Talking about value addition. We have a host of things, shea butter, this and that. We even had from the video yesterday somebody wearing a dress called cocoa pot. When we all agree that if we increase our exports, at least things will be better for us than rather importing. So I think within 2 to 3 years.
Okay. So in In arriving at this percentage, time, you don't just wake up, start production, and you are there. And so there's that challenge of getting to the export market. There's another challenge of identifying the product that the market will take. And now we want to move from 10 to a certain percentage. You know, even as we try to move, remember, goods like oil, cocoa, and the other one, the third one, minerals will not stop being exported. So it's not like we will hold this one stable and this will move. Remember, this is not absolute figures. This is percentage. Do you understand?
And you see, it's not. Excuse me. Let me. It's not. It's not our wish. When we are stating these figures, it's not what we are wishing. It's not what we are hoping. It's about what is realistic. So it's so many factors that is coming into being to really reach that target. That's why we are being modest in the end.
So just quickly, so you have to consider access to markets, like he said, and then the quality infrastructure, the standards infrastructure. Ours is not robust. So we need to develop a robust quality and standards infrastructure. Because you don't want to manufacture things, they get there and then they are refused or entry into the market because of standards. So yeah,
All right. So thank you very much. Please, let's move on. Okay. So on that point, on the target is low. Okay, we've noted it. It's something that we will think about.
Those comments we will take.
Okay, yes. So the last point: raise research and development expenditure to 2% of GDP within 5 years. In fact, this one has been set this target based on data available regarding R&D. Are there any hands here saying no? Okay.
Universities to ensure that we don't spend another money for the industry players to do their research, but rather connect to universities to champion this R&D. That's what's the pack saying? Uh-huh. Good. Now, what I'm saying is that whatever government is giving university as subsidies should be of the development so that it will be target based.
Right.
No, yes.
Of our economy, which is an import-oriented economy, in their educational curriculum. So I am of the view that it should increase from 2% to 5%. And secondly, to back this, we should create some form of taxes in our ports to support startups in R&D and various universities. Because the more you import, the more you export job abroad. And so, looking at the orientation of our economy, we want to right, and that will be coupled by the curriculum of our various tertiary and also vocational institutions. And then, secondly, a fiscal policy that would ensure that we gain a lot of, especially from strategic commodities that we import in this country, that we have resources to be able to substitute our imports so that we can make these funds available to yes to increase.
Okay, thank you very much. So on that particular point, the last point under access to finance and SME growth. Okay, so 3 no and the rest are yes.
So there are people like for decades since independence time of GDP. Last year, their total research, development, and point to a private sector because through that they developed their private sector. So the LGs, the Kias, the resource for contribution is now coming down. It's gradually being shifted to private sector, but the state needed to start it. So if you want solid development, I think that even if you want to target a 2%.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, but I'm this one.
Okay, so and the first point is reduce the average time to register a new business to less than 5 days within 2 years. Reduce the average time to register a new business to less than 5 days within 2 years. Anyone with an objection to this? Any no?
No objection. Restaurant Junior is already achieving that target, so it cannot be anything less. Yeah.
Things online now.
Now they've actually improved a lot. So that target, we're already achieving it.
Okay. Can you speak to my
So what I'm saying is that currently you can register a business within 2 days. Yeah, I think they have a fast track premium service online that you can actually achieve that. So 5 days is a bit not too much. Yeah. So maybe we should creatively put it in a way such that we say when you have all your documents available, you should be able to do it within a day or something.
Yeah. So this is the average time that we are setting. How many no's did we have, please?
No. Let's move on. Some of the things that are very
I think I want to comment. I'm Kojo Entry. The issue why we have a lot of us here, young people, why we have a lot of young people here is that we know the government cannot employ us. We have to go into private business. That's why we came here. So that after school, I want to go and do business. The ease of doing business in Ghana is frustrating and stressful. So we were thinking that we come here and then, for example, I'm a young person coming out of school. I want to go into simple business like rentals, canopies, and chairs. How do I compete with existing ones? How am I able to get contracts from institutions that needs my business registered to find my tax plans and those things? Because other than that, I cannot compete with those who are existing. This is what we thought we are coming to do. Again, now when we speak to friends outside, I came from outside, we want to go into, I just put up my building somewhere in my village, somewhere, give it up for people to rent. I'll have peace of mind. Because when I want to go into businesses, for example, block manufacturing, the bureaucratic way of registering somebody who is existing, who have money, will come and take away the land and can do. These are simple, practical ways we think we can do to help young people who are coming out from school, who are not getting employment, to reduce them. But people have to go into businesses that will help employ people, not businesses that will just be comfortable for himself, the family, and things like that. Thank you very much.
I think that's an addition to what we have. When you get the paper, the bigger paper, you see all these suggestions inside. But for now, the purpose that we are here is to agree or disagree on the target that we have set. So that is why we are here today. We've already gone to all time to register a new business to less than 5 days within 2 years. So I think there's a proposal that currently we also yes
to the target. Because within 2 years.
Because it says less than 5 days.
Less than 5
So
within
1
2
day
years.
that
And
is
it's
less
clear.
than
So
5
I think
days.
Why didn't we capture the recommendation?
Yeah.
We want it to be another four.
no.
We are saying 20.
Even though
That's come. Sure.
In fact, I joined this group today. I would have gone to another group, but I want to learn. Here is the case we are talking about registering a company and a business and all of that. Have we thought about advocacy? Somebody doesn't even know where to go to. It's not everybody who is IT compliant to go online. Can we have information centers that if you want to go and register a business, you walk in there, somebody will educate you. I'm not talking about our illiterate mothers alone. Even those of us who have gone to school, you don't even know where to go to. So we need the advocacy, the education on how to go about these things.
to the districts, there are business resource centers and business. So we've noted the suggestion. We will look at that. Any the middle to increase target.
Tax incentives.
So we move to that within 3 years.
60%. 60% is better. I mean, why for
Proposing that instead of 40%, we make it 60%.
Thank you very much. My name is Mafkud Afar with innovative ideas and people in tech or anyone coming over.
Okay, I think that's in line with Madam's suggestion.
Is it no?
I think that in today's robust technological world, we using AI and technology, it can be realistic and we can be able to do it. I'd like to end on this note, and I'm not going to talk anymore, unless maybe I see all these targets, but I don't see, and so some of the targets should also focus on women because they are a marginalized group of our society. And as the saying goes, if you train a woman, train the nation, right? And we all have mothers, and we've all witnessed how our mothers, our women have impacted on our lives.
Yeah. And gender equality part of compacts, all these issues are addressed there.
General idea about have been involved in this for quite a while in a room thinking about private sector development for Ghana things. What I do see here are any of those here. And I think that are we going to mainstream private sector development? The salary that he gets is incumbent on some of the soft things that eases business, the business and
I said these are targets. There are actions that have been proposed for these targets to be achieved. So adopt mechanism to reduce reduction of the time to have dispute resolved. It's kindly let me know. Adopt mechanism to reduce the turnaround. Okay, so what we are saying is that imagine the time is 5 years. Reduce that 5 years by 1/3. I don't know whether we get it. Within 2 years.
Yes, it's working fine. So I think it should even go. Sorry?
Then 2 years is fair.
Yes, 2 years is fair, but it's working. ADR is working.
Okay. We are closing.
Sorry, I realize that for most of them, we don't have the house. So when you say adopt mechanisms, do we have, I mean, in the detailed report, do we have the mechanisms spelled out? Or we are just being broad and general about them?
For this particular one, there are proposals when you check the bigger documents on the proposal on the mechanism to be adopted. Yeah, they are detailed, yes. But you can still propose if you have ideas on how to go about it. Okay, so we go to the last one. That's skill gap and workforce development. And the first point is upgrade the Ghana Skill Development Fund to an authority within 2 years. Currently, we have the Ghana Skill Development Fund. So the fund support businesses as usual with funding, but there's so much that businesses require in terms of skill development. So there's a proposal that this, are there any no's in the house on that, on the target that have been set? Any no's within 2 years?
I think it's fine.
Within 2 years.
Yeah, I think
Those
it's fine.
sitting in the middle, anyone sitting in the middle?
I think it's fine.
Okay, so I can safely say that all of us are approving to this. Yes. Okay. The second point, increase the proportion of the workforce with technical and vocational training from 20% to 40% within